Wow.
You're fucking good.
Pretty fucking delicious.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, this is
Fuck
crazy.
you guys. You guys are gonna be fat.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Holy
Wow.
shit, that's good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men of all ages, and women, I guess.
Yeah, don't just
Okay, yes, everyone, welcome back to the Too Good For You podcast. This is the only podcast in California, and we are joined by two very special guests.
That's right.
Isn't that right, man?
That is right.
We are joined by Mashed Ice Cream. Anthony and Tony, welcome. How's it going, you guys?
It's going. Thank you for having us. I'm Anthony.
Tony.
And we are the founders of Mashup Ice Cream Company.
Ice cream in the building.
That's right.
Ice
A
cream.
little chilly.
Yes, let's talk about it. Summer is here. Ice cream is on the menu. How? Ice cream. You guys have an ice cream company. That's awesome. First of all,
Thank you.
shout out to that. Usually we hear a lot of people who are like, yeah, I have a clothing brand or like whatever, but an ice cream company. That's something that's very original, and not a lot of people kind of come out of, you know, in the age of internet being like, I'm gonna start an ice cream company. So let's just jump right into that. Like, what was the catalyst for you guys to be like, let's start an ice cream company?
Well, I think Tony tells that story the best, so I'm going to let him ramble on with that.
Do it.
Right.
So, ice cream is my favorite food.
Okay.
It always has been. I honestly think that I like ice cream more than most people. So I've been able throughout my life to like see the nuances and like how ice cream tastes and whatnot. And I make it a point every time I go somewhere new to try some new kind of ice cream. I had an ice cream tattooed on me like 3 years ago before we even started this whole company.
He was in it.
Yeah.
I was,
in it
yeah.
already.
I made it happen. I manifested it. And I always knew I wanted to do something with it. And I always knew that I wanted to start a company with Anthony. I've been pretty adamant about that since we met. And I had pitched ice cream to him a couple times, to be honest with you. The idea was never really right. Like, we tried bootleg ice cream. We tried, like, alcoholic-infused ice cream. And it just... He had his criteria for what he wanted or what he needed in a company. And we just never really cracked the code until one day we did, which was last August, and we found this like really unique spin on it. I pitched it to him and he loved it, and we kind of just like hit the ground running, and we haven't really looked back ever since.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, when Tony kind of came up to me with the idea, you know, we really loved, or I felt like we were mostly inspired by like Jenny's ice cream / Tyler ice cream collaboration, Tyler the creator, and sort of kind of like a really great example of part of the idea of what Mashup was and kind of like grew into be. And of course, you know, Tony's knowledge of all these amazing flavors that he's tried and his inspirations from his travels and whatnot kind of like led to the idea of what Mashup is, which is, you know, we're an artisanal ice cream company that makes all these unique flavors, but we have this larger emphasis on collaborations with other individuals, organizations, and whatnot. And the criteria that he was mentioning was that for me, you know, I needed to have, I've always wanted to start a business. I mean, we both grew up around entrepreneurs and whatnot, you know, we're children of immigrants, but what I really sought for in a business was something that was going to be malleable, like in creative, flexible in that sense, artistically, but then also scalable, something that wouldn't solely rely on us. Like, I mean, you know, you could do something with, you know, crocheting hats, but that really, you can only do that if you have the skills for it. So ice cream, you know, fit the bill. Like, there's a lot of fun that you can have with it, and, you know, creation and creativity that you can perform with the, you know, kind of with the whole concept of ice cream. But then the scaling part really was probably the bigger key for me, because yeah, it's a recipe, but that can be taught and that can be grown and spread throughout the country. And yeah, Tony's, you know, original idea for, you know, nice, interesting flavors that people have never really tried, as well as our ability to kind of grow and scale that and have fun with it in unique ways. Like, I'm sure you've seen some of the shorts that we do, allowed us to have this like artistic freedom, but also growth potential for the future is like sky high. So that really struck a chord with me, and why I fell in love with the idea.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is a really good way to look at it. I feel like you guys have a very strong business vision for what you guys want with it, but it doesn't seem that it's like my head is always just like in the business. Like obviously, as you're saying, like I want to have fun with this. Like that is what's going to make this company what it is. It's how we're going to express, Mashed Up to be what it is if we're having fun. Because if we were just like, doing the business stuff, I'm sure like most things, like once you take something that you enjoy and turn it into a job, you usually stop not liking it because you're like, now I actually have to work into this as a business. But yeah, so that's good that you guys are keeping that idea of fun and creativity in the forefront of it, obviously with growing a business, but making sure that you guys are having a good time with it, which is obviously pretty important. So your name, Mashed Up, is that something that has to do with your collection of flavors, or was the name, like how did the name originate?
Yeah. So the name is twofold. Literally, mashup means like a mashup, a melding of flavors. We like to take pride in like offering people very unique flavors. I've always viewed it in a sense that there's no way that a small company like us can make an affordable, good vanilla ice cream as cheaply as like a Haagen-Dazs can, for example, because we're two people, So where I find our value is allowing people to kind of have a sense of adventure without having to go anywhere, or maybe having them try something that kind of pushes that sense of nostalgia and maybe they relate to a memory. So we like to create flavors that people can't really get at a grocery store. For example, we've done like a guava cheesecake ice cream, that you're not going to go to like a Ralph's or something and find that flavor really. And then on the flip side of it, mashup is like a mashing up of ideas, businesses, flavors. So we, like he kind of said, we took a lot of inspiration from Jenny's Splendid Ice Cream Company, specifically a collaboration that she did with Tyler, the Creator. And at the time that seemed like a one-off, and since like a couple companies have been doing like more regular collaborations, but the first time they did it, I was like, this is super new. Why isn't this like a core pillar of someone's business model where you can take your platform and your product and collaborate with someone and kind of bridge these worlds together and expose your audience to new things? And you kind of, it makes sense because you're bridging those worlds with that collaborative flavor. So that's what we do, is we do a lot of collaborations. We haven't done any so far with any other food companies, and that's kind of by design. So we have these people that follow us that like desserts, like ice cream, but now we're providing them an outlet to learn about clothes. We're providing them an outlet to learn about these cool co-working spaces that specialize in coffee, as well as like breweries, and learning how there are other things out there, and kind of just really encouraging people to get out of their comfort zones, try new things. And if like the catalyst to that is a pint of ice cream that we created for them, then like that gives me so much satisfaction as like a creator, Yeah,
absolutely. I think kind of, just piggybacking off that last part there, is that I feel both, Tony and myself, we've always thought of ourselves as artistic individuals, but just not like, or like very creative individuals, but not artistically gifted. Like in the traditional sense where like, painter, we're not painters, we can't sing, we can't play an instrument type stuff. And so this business, kind of going back to part of my initial criteria, was like of being malleable, flexible, but that really relates to the creativity part about it, is like being able to have fun with it in an artistic fashion that isn't a traditional medium like playing an instrument and so on and so forth, or like sports or whatever. And so just kind of like letting ourselves have that free reign fun with it, as well as engaging with other people and organizations, just blending worlds together. And I think the big key thing is like, Tony just mentioned, which is exposing people to new ideas, concepts, and experiences. I mean, our slogan is a story in every scoop, and you'll see that in sort of the short films that we release. And if you go on our Instagram, which is Mashup Ice Cream Co, you'll see it's not just ice cream. It's sort of like a lifestyle brand almost, where you see different like imagery, and it's not strictly just ice cream, because we want to be more of an entertainment company to some degree, almost like a media company that just so happens to sell ice cream. and you can view these short films of these experiences that people have and actually get a taste of it, vis-a-vis the ice cream. And it's just a unique spin because there's a lot of other ice cream companies, that, we tell a story this way. And, ice cream is about, you go to these factories where they manufacture ice cream and it's like there's the whole, this is the way ice cream is made. And they really lean into the whole like kiddish kind of, this is the way you tell a story type thing. But we're taking, a similar approach, but I feel like we're really leaning into it much more than anybody really ever has by, telling these stories and creating stories, like actually creating stories and taking inspiration from different media that we see and converting them into a mashup, cinematic, world or MCU type thing where it's like mashup cinematic universe. And we get to have these characters that experience different things and emotions and just incidents and coincidences and things like that, that all kind of relate deep down to who we are as, human beings. And then you get to have the ice cream if you care to.
I like that.
Yeah,
no, that's really cool. Kind of going into like your inspiration, where you're coming from. So you're creating all these amazing flavors. Usually you go to like Ralph's or one of the grocery outlets and stuff, and it's like chocolate, vanilla, and then like a spin-off of that. How is like you guys are making? You said guava cheesecake. I saw pandan on there. I saw horchata,
ube, tres leche.
Yeah, exactly. You're incorporating all these other cultures and heritage into your ice cream. Where do you get the inspiration like to fully push that out?
So I've been fortunate enough throughout my life to have been able to travel like a decent amount for someone that's only 25. And like I was telling you guys off camera, I make it a point every time I go somewhere new, one, to try McDonald's locally because there's always something very unique. Very true. And then two, to try the ice cream because that's something that I have always like related to and cared about personally. So I kind of see it as, I know not everyone does have the opportunity to travel so much. So part of the idea was let's create something that allows people to travel without having to go anywhere. They can taste an idea, they can go back to a memory that kind of pushes that nostalgia. Like I said, we did make a pandan flavor like you mentioned, and we had someone try it once and they said that it tastes like the autumn leaves, like the air, like in October kind of stuff. And that's the kind of emotion that we want people to be triggered with when they taste our ice cream, Yeah.
And I think that like Tony said, his inspiration is more or less like because of his travel. I mean, I haven't traveled quite as much, but I think I find more of my inspiration coming from like the memories and the experiences. Is like, I'm a big movie guy and I love movies because I feel like they really touch upon like just, what it is to be a human in different ways and different with the different genres and stuff. And I think with the ice cream, we do that too to some degree with like our shorts, but also the really tapping into the memories. Like for example, we've got our S'more'n by the Campfire, which isn't out right now, but who knows, it might be coming out pretty soon. Wink, wink. Which that one is really great because that one, I mean, I've had a lot of s'mores ice cream, going around, and I mean, I know it's biased, but it really does taste like s'mores, like authentically all the way through to the very core of it. And personally, that gives me memories of when I would go camping with my aunt and uncle every summer to June Lake and have fun and be with my cousins and just be out in nature. And so that's what it reminds me of. And so, like, that's what I think is really cool about our ice cream. And I mean, ice cream in general is very like, it is nostalgic, and a lot of people, even, adults, like they have ice cream and they kind of feel like a kid again, which is great because as we get older, we sort of lose sight of our childhood. And I feel like ice cream is a way to bring that back out. But the memories is kind of what I take inspiration from. And Tony's really great. I mean, he has a lot of great ideas for ice cream flavors, and he'll come out with this and experiment with that. And then I'm like, okay, well, this could use improvement in this way. And I myself am not a sweets guy at all. Like I'm not a big sweet tooth. I'm more of a savory guy, but which is funny coming from the founder of an ice cream company.
Scandalous.
Yeah. We'll wait for the steak and rice.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Exactly. But it is precarious. But what I think works so well about the fact that I'm not a huge sweet tooth is that when Tony comes to me with an idea and a flavor that he's made, and he has me try it, and I say, damn, this is good, then that makes me feel even better about the product itself. And not only that, but like, I mean, just him being an ice cream aficionado, knowing what is good gives me great confidence. But just having my own self, who's like kind of a harsh critic of myself, but also of the product, is like, okay, this is good. People are going to love this. It's going to remind them of something beautiful in their lives or inspire them to go out and do something, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But
I like that you're like the sample of like the first ice cream taste. Like, is this good? Nah, dude, you need something else.
No,
Get back to me.
And that
Try
part,
harder.
that part is important because we've had a few. Most of the time when we make a flavor, we get it spot on. Like, it's done, it's great. We're just good at what we do. But sometimes it's like we get something. Like, we'll make something and like, dude, we got to do something about this, or like this is not like, this just can't work. Tony might want to tell you about our Sour Patch Kids ice cream, or the first time we made like a red velvet ice cream, like stuff like that. Is just, we've had these incidents where it's like, no, this is not happening right now. We gotta do something else or pivot that way. But
and a lot of it was honestly trial and error.
Yeah.
Like, we know how to make ice cream now, but we didn't always. So part of that creative process is trying things and figuring out what works, what doesn't. I remember this one time I had this idea for like a cornbread ice cream, and I didn't really know how to start. So I literally used like cornmeal, like the box mix for cornbread. I was like, I'll just throw that in there, like, and you can taste when something doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through that though, I think, to figure out how to build upon stuff. Same thing with, like you said, I tried a Sour Patch Kids ice cream once, and I didn't realize that if you freeze actual Sour Patch Kids, they freeze like glass.
Super hard.
So,
Super hard. Yeah.
It's terrible. But that, again, like, that's my favorite part of it is if I have an entire day free, I'll try 5-6 different ideas, and they might not work, but when something does, like, it's like a light bulb that goes off, and then you hit the ground running, and you can come up with so many amazing flavors.
Yeah. You pretty much just kind of took the next question I was going to come up with, was like, what was some of the initial challenges that you guys faced outside of obviously starting a business, which is already challenging enough, but once you're like, okay, we're going to make an ice cream company, it's going to be fucking awesome, and then like obviously there has to be challenges. So obviously it seems like just getting that right flavor or something that hits right can be challenging, but like what other things that came up in like the early days or the beginning of it that you were like kind of blindsided by? You're like, I didn't think like this was going to be a problem, but now we're kind of worrying about this instead of like making an ice cream flavor.
Sure, yeah. I wouldn't say that there wasn't anything that necessarily blindsided us or came out of the left field in terms of problems. I would say like our biggest struggle, honestly, like is just time. Like, working a full-time job and having a business is like, you have no time, and like the very little time that you do have, you either want to spend for yourself to like reboot or get some sleep, or family or girlfriend, whatever it is. So I think that's a big thing for us. But when it comes to like the ice cream, like the creation of the ice cream, it's pretty straightforward. When it comes to like the marketing of it, it's fun, it's challenging, and it's fun because we have to come up with like different ideas, which is the fun part about it. But yeah, and I would say like personally, there's not really a big like thing like that, but the time, it's only 24 hours in a day, and you sleep for 8 of them. You're kind of you're very thin on time.
Kind of building on what he said, and let me know if you guys have a similar problem with the podcast. Is going back to time, is that running a business, especially the one that we are in, like ice cream, like you said, takes so much time, and only being 2 people that both also have full-time jobs, we do run into the problem of like we spend our time kind of doing the operations, the day-to-day things we need to do in order to get the product out to people, and that takes away from time we could be spending strategizing to expand the business itself. I would personally say that's been the biggest issue, one that we're working towards like getting better at every day, and really that just comes with planning and being more efficient with our time and kind of trying to multitask. But that's a big one. I feel like it's kind of inevitable to kind of go through those growing pains though, and personally, when you do something you love, like we do now, I kind of find like joy in that and trying to figure it out every day. And then especially knowing that I have a partner that I trust so much, like I don't ever doubt that we can get through those problems and like still create an amazing product for people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mr. Not Sweet, gentlemen, out of all the flavors that you guys have tested and have created, I'm not going to let you guys reveal any secrets, but what's been your favorite flavor that you guys have come up with and put out?
Yeah, so I mean, for me personally, it is the s'more by the campfire that I mentioned. I love that flavor just because it's so authentic and it just hits different. I also really love our Purple Paradise, which is a ube tres leches with coconut cookie chunks. That one's been...
Don't bring that close to my girl.
Yeah.
Hold on now.
That one's been an overwhelming popular one as well. And then on top of that, I might mention one of the other original flavors, which was the Little Havana, which was the cream cheese or the guava cream cheese ice cream that Tony mentioned. Those are just like flavors that just stand out to me the most. But everything we make for the most part is pretty unique. But yeah, if I have a pint of s'more by the campfire, like it's done like in a night or two, like, which is very, very rare for me.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I would say my all-time favorite is probably the guava cream cheese.
Okay.
That one's a little bittersweet for me because before we started an ice cream company, my favorite ice cream that I ever had was a guava cream cheese ice cream that I had in Little Havana in Miami.
Wow.
So I know how good it is when I make it, but I have these like unrealistic comparisons to like a memory of it that kind of like makes it bittersweet for me. But I also feel like I enjoy the process so much that every time we come up with a new flavor, that'll be my new favorite. Like we recently did a muffins for breakfast is a flavor. It's like a maple buttery ice cream with blueberry muffin tops.
Yo, I'm not a sweets person either, but you're making it sound really good right now, man. Like,
and that was a favorite for like a week, and then we dropped like a salted caramel ice cream with a gooey butter cake. If you've ever had that,
That
we
one was
homemade
crazy.
ourselves, and it's insane. And then we just recently, so every time we have like a little excess in inventory, we'll give some stuff out for free. And I took a couple pints of that to work like 3-4 days ago, and I tried a little bit myself, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. You know, I hope people realize like how good this is, you know, like, cause this isn't, I love ice cream. I love all ice cream. This is very noticeably different than like going to a Thrifty's or getting some Dryer's ice cream. Like you can taste the difference.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because I mean, like, I can say that I enjoy ice cream, which I do. But I'm also pretty basic with it. You're like, oh, what's your favorite ice cream? I'm like, I don't know, dude, man. I go for fire cookies and cream or like a strawberry. Like, that's it. Like, I'm cool, like, with just having like a nice basic ice cream. But I like all this like artisanal, like, oh, we're gonna put muffin blueberry toppings on this and all this other stuff. Like, cause yeah, I mean, like is something that you don't get often. It's not something that's like easily just like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the store and pick up a 5-gallon tub of artisanal ice cream. It's like, no, you're gonna pick up a 5-gallon tub of vanilla, which is like, it's all right, like it's ice cream. Like, it is what it is.
Which I think, you know, kind of it speaks to the fact that, like, again, part of our mission is to encourage people to try new things, which is part of why we do the collaborations with different adjacent businesses or like just completely parallel businesses. And the flavors also, you know, sort of strive to that goal, strive to that end of let's encourage people to try new things and get out of their comfort zone. I mean, not only do I feel like just generally in the world people are pretty like locked into their just own like kind of like little echo chambers, but a lot of times just as people we forget, we kind of get set in our ways, you know, and we forget to try new things. And our flavors, you know, because you can't get them, they're not the most generic thing. You know, they do sort of spark that interest in you. And if you're the kind of person that, you know, loves ice cream, you know, that's good news for you. But also, if you're the kind of person who, you know, enjoys ice cream, but, you know, it is, you know, considers themselves a bit more sort of mainstream in terms of like their selection, you know, this is when we put out something, we want to kind of spark the idea of, this is interesting. Like, okay, well, like, yeah, grab some curiosity.
There's more to this.
Definitely, yeah. There's more to this type philosophy and idea. It's much more deeper than what it seems, and so the flavors are there to really encourage people to try something new, and then they come with like unlocking an old memory or solidifying an experience and whatnot. And so yeah, it's definitely there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and there's a lot of like different intricacies, and it all comes together in like what you see on the Instagram, Mashup Ice Cream Co. And it's just it's sort of, we're trying to create something more than just ice cream. Like if we wanted to do that, it wouldn't be as fun, and it wouldn't be something inspiring to other people and whatnot. And that's the main thing we want to do, is just help inspire people to try new things and just create new memories with people they love.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier to make that part of the job easy, right? You make a new flavor, quick photo, post it up, job is done. You posted our flavor, it's out there, the world can see it. But obviously you guys have taken the time and effort to make beautifully, captivating images and videos.
Thank you.
You're welcome. For all of your posts, for your products. Can you guys talk a little bit about, your process when it comes to, making that content? Because again, it could just be as simple as being like new flavor and done, but it's more like you guys put in a lot to it. You guys.
Yeah, so I've personally never really considered myself like too competitive of a person, but I have found since starting this company that being passionate about something like will really unlock that competitiveness in you. Yeah. And a perfect example is whenever I tell people like, oh, I own an ice cream company, the first thing that I kind of see on their face is like, oh, like that's cute, ice cream. But and that's why I really appreciate having like the opportunity to be on outlets like this podcast to be able to like really go in depth. I'm trying to change people's perception of what a dessert company can be and what an ice cream company should be. So like you said, we could very easily use not the best ingredients, like half-ass it and try to make as much money as possible. But I care about what we're doing, and as naive as it may sound, or if maybe people don't quite understand it yet, like we're really trying to revolutionize what it means to be a company operating in the space. And that's why we lean so much into our public appearance, why we lean so much into our advertising, into creating these short stories, because ice cream is always going to be a premium good, but if it's going to be a premium good, let's lean into that. Let's make an entire experience for people. Let's tell a story, and let's create something that'll take them somewhere that they can only get to if trying this ice cream.
Oh, go ahead.
And just kind of beyond that, kind of picking up a little bit of what you were putting down there, is that like his phrase of revolutionizing an industry is, the ice cream industry, there's big players. You got your Ben & Jerry's, you got your Dryers, you got your Jenny's Ice Cream, all of which, are great companies that produce an amazing product, and we take a lot of inspiration from them as their forerunners. But, we sort of, our longer term goals for Mashup is, we do want to be a household name, and we will be that household name. And the way we want to get there essentially is through national distribution, where sure, we either have, two giant factories or whatever, or we have smaller artisanal kitchens all across the country and do like on-demand delivery vis-a-vis, Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever, because there's a lot of companies that are doing that now. But that's not like a main outlet. Like we're not a traditional ice cream company in the sense that we have a shop. We don't have a scoop shop. Yeah. And when we started, we said we never really want to ever have a scoop shop. We don't see necessarily like the need for it. Is if we can create the entertainment and the demand for it online, then as long as we have a distribution network to fulfill those orders, we can get to anybody in the country. Whereas if you spend $250,000, $500K on a shop, you're limited to
that
30 miles.
Yeah.
So it's like we're not traditional in the sense the way we tell our stories, but also in the future of what we want to do. And that's obviously like a little ways down the road, but that's sort of the idea is make Mashup a, Ben and Jerry's, make Mashup a Jenny's Ice Cream. And there's a lot of, things that we need to get done on the way there, but again, small things like this are the stepping stones to reaching those higher levels. So that we do appreciate the opportunity to be here, and for the listeners who take the time to listen to our story.
Thank you. And we got something for you. Stay tuned to the end of the episode.
Oh yeah.
You heard it here first.
And also, we have to live what we preach. Try new things, get out of your comfort zone. I wouldn't consider either of us very outgoing,
Nope.
extroverted individuals. This, I believe, is kind of sort of stressful for us to be talking on camera. It's not something that comes naturally to either of us, but if we're gonna preach other people to try new things, get out of their comfort zones, I think we should live that ourselves. And it kind of works twofold to our advantage, because the idea we have is one that at this point takes some explaining. So any platform that we have, this one included, is quite the blessing for us. And again, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I'm telling you right now, you guys are pretty PR trained, man. You guys could speak, and you guys professional, so you guys could have fooled me. All right.
Most of us PR. So these guys are good.
Yeah.
These guys are good.
No, but I like that with your story. You're breaking that stigma. It's not just an ice cream for dessert. You're building that experience, and nostalgia with everything you go. Now, I know with the artisanal ice creams, when I think of that, it's more just in shop places, so Salt and Straw, or Handles, or Brewster, something like that. But you guys are trying to break into that space of Ben and Jerry's, but with artisanal ice cream, right?
Yeah, sort of a space in between those two categories, where the quality of what we produce is on par with those artisanal scoop shops, but our distribution and our reach is further than that, further than a 5-mile radius or whatever it might be. So yeah, I would agree that's kind of the space we're trying to fulfill. And it might end up being a bad decision. Maybe there's a reason nobody's filling that space, but I think I feel very strongly that we have a great plan, and we have a good shot at making that space a reality. Is you want to try, and we try to fail fast, but I think I'm very confident we'll have a lot of great success in that area, because people that love ice cream will always be there, and there's always going to be people that are open-minded enough to try something new. And as long as those two constants remain the same, then I think we have our way.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to say is, not to be super convoluted, but if you're a fan of the Mashup Ice Cream Company, you're really a fan of yourself. For example, we've done collaborations with clothing companies where we created an ice cream company collaboratively, or we created an ice cream flavor collaboratively that really highlighted the aspects of that company itself. Same thing we did a co-working space that highlighted their best-selling coffee drinks. And firstly, thank you for both of those companies, Pluto Sneakers and Work PS. You can check them out. For taking a chance on us to create something with them, but also for trusting their own businesses enough to know that this is something that their consumers would enjoy. Yeah. Same thing with if we were going to do a catering event, which we do. Yeah, we cost a lot more than if you were to just go to Walmart and get a tub of ice cream. But what we offer is the collaborative process. Where else can you create a unique flavor specific for your 5-year-old child's birthday party than with us? And if you love someone enough to spend that money, then we can give you something that is truly an embodiment of that person, that event, that company, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it comes back to your values. You're building that experience, and then when they get it again, it's I remember that one time at my 5th birthday party, whatever, that I had this ice cream. It's great,
And my party was clown themed, and we created a clown ice cream, like we said, it's a story in every scoop. So we really value our creativity with these flavors, and that goes for whoever's working with us. We can create something as amazing as you can imagine.
Absolutely. There's no limits to that. And just kind of quick highlight about like what Tony mentioned there is like, yeah, we have our own flavors which we release on our website, MASHUPICECREAM.com, which are rotational flavors that you can get throughout the month. And they change every month or until they're sold out. But we also have wholesale partnerships with different places. At this moment, we have 2 wholesale partnerships, which has been really great. One is at Ballast Point Brewing Company. Our ice cream is topped on their chocolate cake ganache, which is delicious, and you should go try it out. It's awesome. Grab a beer if you're old enough. And then
definitely our crowd.
Yeah.
Guys who drink too much.
Yeah.
Just go to Ballast Point.
Exactly.
With some ice cream.
And then we did just close another account, which follow our Instagram page to keep posted, because that one's going to be a crazy exclusive flavor only to this place, which will be coming out next week, or we'll be announcing next week. So Mashup Ice Cream Co. Definitely follow that, because that's going to be a very unique flavor. But that's a really great example, because with this company, we worked with them to create something unique to their theme, their brand, their identity. And now this ice cream flavor is something you will only ever be able to get at their location. So that's a real big selling point for a lot of our other, like our potential wholesale accounts, is like, you're a big company that's trying to create an ultimate experience for your clients to at every level, whether it's your service, your, the products that you provide, but like, if you're a restaurant in particular, it's the level of service, the entire memory of that night at your restaurant, and every piece of your meal, every piece of that experience goes to that memory of that your clients will, feel nostalgia about. And that's where our desserts come in, because we can take that to the next level by providing something truly unique, creating unique desserts with our partners, and unique ice creams, and a level of exclusivity that you just can't get at a big company.
These guys are like the Mountain Dew of ice cream. You guys have the Baja Blast exclusive Taco Bell only.
Yeah.
What's the one from Pizza Hut? God damn it!
The red one?
The red, Code Red.
Yeah, the yellow.
Code Red, right?
Red.
The yellow one.
Yeah.
There's a yellow
Bro,
one.
trust me, we went down the rabbit hole.
We did go the rabbit hole. I
I had a full 30-minute tangent about Mountain Dew. I don't even like Mountain Dew.
Dude, this dude loves Mountain Dew. We
I
used
like
to
Diet Mountain Dew
We used to.
when I'm on a diet.
Let me tell you, we used to work out at like 4:30 every morning, like what, 2 years ago, a year ago, whatever. We fell off now, as you can tell. We've been putting on some pounds. But this dude used to come into my garage after 2 coffees and a Diet Mountain Dew, singing top of the morning, when I'm barely like trying to defrost after just waking up.
Gotta get in the zone.
No, 100%, bro. Yeah.
I like that. That's
gonna be the new routine, bro.
Yeah.
Into the gym.
Coffee and Diet Mountain Dew.
Right before every podcast. Shotgun a Diet Mountain Dew.
Tyson, what's happening? You guys come to the show. Like, sorry, I'm getting ready for the show. Open a cold one. Yeah, because usually I drink beer, but a Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew, would be better.
Save the calories.
so.
Yeah.
Save the calories for ice cream, right?
That's right.
There it is.
Oh man. I wanted to ask you guys too. In terms of the way that you guys like intend on producing like more flavors and getting these kind of deals with these places, what is your kind of is it mostly, are you working with them specifically, or is it something like, hey, we think that you guys fit this kind of mold, or not mold, but like hey, we thought of this flavor, you guys seem to fit this kind of flavor, how do you guys feel about that? Or is it always essentially just like, hey, we want to work with you, tell us what you want, and then do you kind of work around that, or is it?
So part of our business model is kind of to promote that level of exclusivity as well as like scarcity, which is where the rotating menu comes into effect. We have monthly menus of 4 to 5 flavors that once they're there and they're gone, they might not be back for a while.
Nice.
They might not ever be back.
Yeah.
So stock up.
Yeah, so stock up.
Stock up now.
Season 1 drop.
And we really like to play into that with our wholesale accounts too. I personally have always liked to think about it as a scavenger hunt. So we have our menu that is going to come and go, but we have this certain level of consistency with our wholesale accounts that to an extent also plays into that exclusivity, because this exclusive flavor that we have with this wholesale partner isn't going to be available on our menu and only at that location. So, for example, at Ballast Point, if you go there, we have a Victory at Sea ice cream, which is a maple coffee ice cream that uses the same beans that they use for one of their stout beers, which is one of their most popular beers. This other account that we're going to announce pretty soon is another very exclusive and unique to that location. And then to answer the other part of your question, I think recently we have kind of played with the idea of doing more so some guerrilla marketing and kind of choosing strategic partners that don't really collide with our current existing accounts. And what we plan to do is kind of study their menus, study the desserts they have on their menus, and kind of go into these restaurants like, hey, this is what we've created, keeping you guys in mind. If you like it as it is, great, let's try to make something happen. If not, this is where the collaborative effort comes into play. And tell me what works, tell me what doesn't. How can we tweak this to make it or get it to a point where you want to come on and be one of our accounts and kind of join this whole movement with us?
Yeah, which just to kind of keep up with that is that, like, especially for our wholesale partners that are restaurants, this is like super pertinent to them, because they forget to realize that a lot of the times desserts aren't a huge chunk of their sales, and there's a reason for that. They don't put a lot of energy into it. When the margins on desserts can be exorbitant, and they can really make a good buck on that. But the more important thing is that they forget the dessert is a thing that comes right before the check. So if they have a good dessert, they're more likely to have, a good impression of the overall experience. And that's where our ice cream comes in, because yes, you can top it, you can top your dessert with, whatever generic, vanilla ice cream, awesome. But if you are a restaurant that really needs to and seeks to leave it a lasting experience and elevate what is like the cuisine that you're serving, our ice cream, our ability to work with you to create something uniquely tailored to you is what's going to be the thing that takes you to the next level. And as a restaurant, they operate on pretty thin margins, and anything you could do to increase that bottom line, but also create an amazing experience for first-time customers to bring people back. That's something that we can help with by creating a unique experience. All the good work that you do as a restaurant to make sure your clients and patrons have the best possible experience, we can help you top that off with an impressionable dessert that leaves them wanting to come back for more.
Yeah, it's more than a product. You guys are building a relationship with these
Absolutely.
people, and then whoever you're working with. But I like that. That's pretty dope.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys.
Speaking of relationships too, how is your local community kind of embraced you guys? I've seen you guys have had some write-ups.
Yeah.
Obviously, you said the story of your guys' work needs to be told, and obviously getting a good start in your local community is a huge plus. So how has that been? How have they been receiving you, and what's been the?
It's been great, and as blessed as we've been to received help, it's also helped me realize that you'll get out of any relationship that you put into it. Like the first article we had written about us, we got that connection because of a friend we had in high school that we had a good relationship with, and in the end wanted to help us years down the line just because of that foundation we had built.
Shout out to Sabrina. Thank you.
And that goodwill shows. Same with Ballast Point. I think I was a good enough employee to where the chef and the general manager were willing to at least hear me out and take a chance on us. And it's the same thing with the city of Downey as a whole, because that's primarily where we operate out of. But we've been at these events. We've done a lot of free things genuinely because we want to help, or just expose people to these new things, or provide a dessert for people, and that shows because they've reciprocated, and we've gotten so much help from the community, like more than I truly thought that we'd be getting, especially this early.
Yeah. which is really great because I mean I love the city of Downey, and I also just want to specifically shout out Kay Quintero. You've been there since the beginning, as well as Rebecca Lehman. You guys are awesome. Super grateful for you two in particular, as well as like Red Heart, you were like the first person who ever picked up ice cream from us. If you're watching this, and then there's so many others. I can't think on the spot right now, but there's so many other people, just individuals that have gone out of their way to try the ice cream, pick it up when we were doing pickups, who now order every week, and encourage us to meet other people in the community that because they have a relationship with, that they want to connect us. And so the city of Downey is great, and I love the city, I love the people, and I can't think or speak more highly about the city.
So, hey, speaking of your roots kind of thing, so you guys start off Downey, right? How did you guys break into this? Because you said you guys are selling solely online, right? Mm-hmm. So how did you guys break into the market with social media, or was it just word of mouth and people are like, hey, like, try this out? Or
it started, I mean, I feel like that's our beginning, was as most small businesses are, social media and word of mouth. And the word of mouth definitely carried and continues to carry its weight right now. And the social media is how we continue to grow. Gotcha. Again, Mashup Ice Cream Co. on Instagram. That's our main platform. You'll see all our good stuff on there.
MashupIceCream.com. If you're within a 15-mile radius of Downey, we deliver every Friday. You can check us out there and order pints.
Free delivery, by the way, to all and anyone.
Free.
I'm included in this. Let's go.
It's a free delivery.
But yeah, primarily, our go-to market strategy has been word of mouth, as well as the social media, and then of course slowly developing wholesale accounts, which increase brand awareness. I mean, I mean, it's crazy to think, but we've had like clients who had complete strangers that had the dessert at Ballast Point, saw it was on their menu by the Mashup Ice Cream Company, followed us, ordered from us, picked up from us, and now they're clients. Now they're continuous clients.
Amazing.
So that's just seeing that actually come into fruition. But that's also part of it.
Nice.
And that reminds me, one more shout out to Chef Juan for being the first person to take a chance on us, and Mario. Appreciate you guys.
You guys are awesome, and we can't be more grateful for you because you guys really had the faith in us, and we love you guys for that. So thank you again.
If they ever see this.
Which we're going to show them tomorrow.
You better be seeing this.
You guys better be watching this. I wanted to kind of check in with you guys in the sense of when it comes to trying new flavors. Again, something kind of going back to that. I know you kind of said you did try boozy ice cream. And when asked why that was a failure, because maybe that's just the
alcoholic.
It's just like, I would love to get drunk off of ice cream, but like, what are you thinking about trying that again? Or like, was that just like a one-time thing? You're like, yeah, no, we're not doing it.
I think more so than anything is like the legality of it. Because then you gotta, get a alcohol server's license.
That's right.
You eliminate like prime target demo.
It's just too niche, really. It's just too tight.
It becomes even more of a premium product than it already is.
Just for Tyson, and it's like, this guy can't handle so much.
He'll be your sample. He'll be your tester. If you guys ever want to go back into it,
I can make it. You remember when we talked about we do collaborative stuff if you ever want to cater.
That's
I can make it for you.
That's a too good for you flavor. We're all drunk off ice cream.
Mashup Ice Cream's making fucking boozy ice cream in the back. Okay, I feel like there's a not just with booze, but a good amount of like different avenues that you guys can travel down. What else are you guys thinking of in the future? If that's something that's secret, or if it's not secret, like what are the kind of things that you're looking to experiment with?
No,
we have a big idea.
Well, I mean, I don't know which one you might be mentioning because I got tons of great ideas, but no, we're definitely working. So two main things I would say. First, real brief, is that vegan and non-dairy flavors. I've had a lot of questions about that, and let me tell everybody out there, it is way harder than it seems, especially because our ice cream is artisanal. It's dense in flavor, and it is what you might consider gelato. It's not a soft serve. It's not just a hard. It's dense and rich in flavor because there's a lot of goodness in there, and there's very minimal air. Not to get too technical, but the problem with vegan ice cream is that because there's no milk and there's no fats in it to carry that flavor, it gets icy, and the flavors aren't as rich and as deep. So there's a lot of good vegan ice cream companies out there, sure. But we want it to be, fantastic and leave you coming back every time. So we are working on that. So bear with us, please, and when we have it out, it will be fantastic. You will love it. I have no doubts about that. But we're definitely working on that. And then the second thing, is ice cream sandwiches. Ice cream sandwiches.
Those are my favorite, man.
Yeah.
I'll be your sample test for that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, because ice cream sandwiches, I think, not only is it great to just merchandise our product lining, but ice cream sandwiches really bring out the kid in you even more than ice cream already does, Just even things like the popsicle ones too, like the little SpongeBob with the crooked eyes, cross-eyed SpongeBob type stuff like
the
that.
bubblegum eyes.
Yeah. Not necessarily popsicle sticks, great, but ice cream sandwiches, there's just something about an ice cream sandwich after a long day of work. Bite into that sucker, and you're feeling like you're 5 years old again.
I ate two on my
and your
lunch.
mom is holding you, and you're okay. But ice cream sandwich is definitely on the way too. Poses another challenge as well, just because not only do the cookie pairings have to be appropriate, but also the cookie itself. You can't just slap a cookie on there. It is deeper than that. You have to consider the humidities of the cookie, the freezing temperatures, their ability to last over the course of time with the ice cream, and just different. There's different challenges.
A lot of factors.
Yeah. Which you think for something as simple as an ice cream sandwich, there might not be.
I get it, man. I want to chew. I want a little chew on my sandwich part. You
always think it's easy. So what? You go to the store, you buy your little, what's his name?
It's it.
Whatever. You just buy the cookies, right? And you bake real quick. And you're like, I'm just gonna bake cookies. Boom. I'm gonna get ice cream. Boom. And then you get in, and you just break a tooth, and you're like, this shit sucks. It's just not an ice cream sandwich.
That was me trying to make cookies and cream. I put Oreos, just smash. I'm like, this is not the same. This is not the same.
He thought she was working at Cold Stone.
I was like, whoa, dude, chill out. Chill out ice cream. But that is a lot of stuff that I don't think a lot of people think about because, like I said, you think for me, and obviously for Eman as well, we are just dumb and don't understand how ice cream works.
It's true.
You just think
I just
you get
eat
ice cream and you put stuff in it, you're like, it's supposed to taste like what I put in it. But it doesn't. There's a lot more that goes into it than just that. So I can see the innovation, though, and I'm excited. I hope ice cream sandwiches come to fruition. And that does sound exciting. I enjoy it. I get ice cream sandwiches.
And if they do, we'll have a promo code for you.
There it is. There it is. I want to dive deeper into your flavor,
For sure.
selection and process. So, you guys are creating all these different kind of flavors. How do you even come up with it? And then how do you know what to mix? Because I'm pretty sure you have to be kind of meticulous with it and be like, only this much or this much before it overpowers or anything.
So it's honestly as simple as something you saw and kind of challenging yourself to I can make that in ice cream form. Going back to what I said in the beginning, I would consider myself a ice cream connoisseur, and I trust my palate enough to kind of assume that if I really like something, then most other people will as well. And so what I try to do is take an idea or take some kind of food, and again, how can I turn this into ice cream? So 4th of July is coming up, and we were talking, well, what's something super American? Apple pie. Okay, let's try to make an apple pie ice cream. How would you do that? You make your own apple pie filling. Awesome. Usually some caramel in there. Let's try to incorporate that. There's crust, so we need some kind of crunch, like graham crackers, it's got to be cinnamony, so let's make it snickerdoodle. And you kind of just build on the idea and see how far you can take it. It kind of just builds like that. Same thing with the ube tres leches that was a dessert that the Chef Juan made at work for a private event once. He made a tres leches soaked ube cake, and there was some left over at the end of the event, and I tried it and I was like, this is insane. Let me try to make this. So it's honestly just these little moments of inspiration and then challenging your own creativity to then try to create that in ice cream form.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, I mean, just thinking about the process is like, okay, like, for example, how, like, maybe how we kind of came up with, like, S'more by the Campfire, for example. Like, Tony had one idea about how would a s'mores ice cream be made. I think, if I remember correctly, like, his base flavor was, like, the graham cracker aspect of...
It was a marshmallow.
Was it?
It was a marshmallow. It was a marshmallow ice cream. And then I mixed in a graham cracker pie crust, and I made my own like chocolate sauce, and it was kind of like layered.
So chef, chef in the lab.
And then when he presented that to me, I mean, it was good, but I knew it could be taken somewhere else, and so I had my own kind of spin on the way I did it, which is sort of classified information, but basically I took it a different route, and it ended up being the recipe that we have now, which just elevated where Tony had like started, and we just took it to the next level. So sometimes it happens like that, or like, for example, like even the red velvet. We did one red velvet a little while ago. We haven't come out with a red velvet flavor yet, but like, you know, we tried by just putting red velvet cake mix into it, and like it just tasted like cake powder, you know,
batter,
like batter, like
what am I?
Yeah. Which wasn't great, right? And so we take that information and like that experimentation, and then just kind of like, okay, how else could we create that red velvet flavor that actually, you know, works lock and key with the base, and the base that we use is egg free, so we don't use any eggs in the actual ice cream, which would be more. It's just. Not only is it more difficult just in the production, but it is more expensive, as well as we can achieve the same thing with a different primary ingredient that actually enhances the flavor, because it's not yolk flavor, and it creates a more thick consistency. So it actually is a more premium ice cream, even though it doesn't have eggs in it.
That just sounds fun. Like just dissecting the flavors to be like, okay, like what I like this thing, what is it? And you're like, oh, it's this and this and this, and then just taking all those things, like how can I get this into the ice cream? You know, I have to make my own chocolate. I have to do this. I gotta add these. Like that just sounds fun. You get with like anything. You just take something you like, you're like, oh, it's gonna dissect it and try to make it an ice cream.
Totally.
Tony, I want to ask you, since you are the traveler and the connoisseur, do you have like a top list of like ice cream places that you can name? I mean, obviously Mashed Up is amazing and the best, but if there was a close second, third, and fourth, like, who would be there?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that there's this ice cream shop in Little Havana, Miami, called Azúcar. And it was the most.
I'm taking notes. Go to Florida in a little.
It was the most like amazing like cream cheese ice cream topped with like guava puree and like graham cracker dust. That I was just like, this is amazing, and I want to try to make my own version of it. One that's like way more accessible. We keep talking about Jenny's Splendid Ice Cream. Her ooey gooey butter cake ice cream is amazing. We make our own version of it with salted caramel, but hers is also a cream cheese base. I've had this once. In high school, for some reason, I went to Kentucky once, and there was this ice cream spot called Euler's. I couldn't tell you anything about it besides that. It was an amazing ice cream. And then I haven't made my way yet to, like, Wisconsin, Michigan, but I know the frozen custard up there is on my bucket list for sure of things I want to try.
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. Like, is there some place that is supposed to be like, this is the best ice cream in the world, and do you know where that is, if there is such a thing?
So, the way I think about it, most people would probably say Italy, like the gelato.
Okay.
I've been fortunately, and I've had the gelato, and it's really good. I kind of just have this feeling because I've also had the pizza in Naples, which is supposed to be like the best in the world, and I kind of thought it was trash.
Let's just blow up Italy then.
They're gonna drown. They're gonna sink anyway. God.
I lived in New Jersey. I lived in Brooklyn. Like, the pizza there is definitely better than it is in Italy. Sorry to whoever's hearing this. And I have to imagine that like the frozen custard in Michigan, Wisconsin is better than the gelato in Italy. Haven't tried it, just a hunch. Best ice cream on earth though is Mashup Ice Cream Co.
There it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
There
it
it
should
is.
be.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't, and one thing that's, I mean, it's not technically an ice cream place, but I always love to give a shout out to, because I think, it's a fun date experience if you want to take your partner out to. There's this place in West LA in Santa Monica called Millet Crepe, Millet Crepe, and they're really cool because it's like this quaint little kind of French creperie. They do crepes with all your, your fillings, Nutella, strawberry, banana, whatever. But then they put a scoop of like Thrifty's ice cream, and then they put they do creme brulee on the top. So you hold it like an ice cream cone, but it's crepe, and then you have the creme brulee on top, and you kind of just poke it with a spoon and eat it. Amazing dessert. Just a little great spot out there. Shout out to you guys if you ever hear this.
Also, shout out to Mashi Malone's.
Mashi Malone, yeah, of course.
In West Hollywood, and now in Westwood. This dude, bro, he emigrated, I believe, from Persia.
Yeah,
in like the
Persian,
80s. Yeah. Just bought an ice cream spot. Didn't know anything about ice cream and just taught himself. And he's the person in like Southern California that introduced everyone to like saffron, lavender, rose water kind of ice cream.
No way.
Yeah.
Real legend. And it's Mashti Malone's, because it used to be, I believe it was an ice cream place before, but it used to be owned by like an Irish guy. So that's where the Malones come from, and then Mashti. So it's got this, it's very LA, it's a blend of culture and whatnot. But it's a fantastic place. I think it's right off Melrose, and I forget where else, but it's amazing. If you like ice cream, you gotta go there. They're fantastic. They're really great, and it's super rich. It's very gelato-like, very similar to our ice cream as well.
But just not as good.
Not as good.
Yeah,
not as good.
exactly.
This is sick, dude. I never thought about like ice cream lore. That's crazy.
The manga.
Yeah. Like this. That's crazy. I know you guys are, like you said, your business model is the constant, like the rotational flavors. Do you ever feel or ever see, like, if just one flavor is like, we need that you'll just like keep like one flavor as like
the classic line.
Yeah, like this is the mashed up, but we also have a rotational, but like this is
like the core flavors. Yeah. I definitely think so. Eventually we will. At this point, like, it's a production challenge and a space challenge. Like, our limiting constraint at this moment is our freezers. Freezers cost a ton, and we have a very unique requirement for freezers. It's got to be -20, and most non-commercial available freezers that you don't have to spend $50,000 on only go down to like -10.
Oh, wow.
And that extra 10 degrees really makes the ice cream much more, like, just very rich.
Makes a difference.
And so that's part of it. Like, it's almost purely a production thing and space thing. But yeah, I do feel like when we get more equipment and we have a greater production capacity, we'll have the ability to provide like a consistent flavor. That's just my thoughts. I mean, honestly, I don't think we've really talked about it, and we've sort of talked about it, but that's just kind of my logic behind it. It's like, that's really the constricting thing right now. So the more mashup ice cream you buy today, the more you'll have available tomorrow.
So go buy some. Shit. Let's go. No, but that's really cool. I wanted to ask you, are you, like, so right now predominantly ice cream, right? Are you guys going to expand into anything else, like sorbet or anything like the frozen custard, like anything like that?
I think you want to.
Not
we
necessarily,
haven't
to be honest.
Talk too much about it. I think we both understand that there is like an added benefit to being able to satisfy like that niche in the space, but I think personally, we're less than a year in, and I'm having so much fun like challenging myself creatively that I don't want to really think about expanding until I've known that I've exhausted my creative efforts with this, because I personally feel like I still have so much traditional ice cream to provide to people, like unique flavors that they haven't tried yet. So I know down the road we're gonna need to, and it is a necessity. But at this point, I'm really focused on challenging myself to continue to create flavors that people haven't tried yet.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I mean, I do feel like ice cream is and will always be our core competency. That's not to say that, like, you know, if we have a facility, you know, if we're going to toss in cookies to a specific flavor, we have the ability to make those cookies ourselves, which is, you know, great. A lot of companies do that. Like, a lot of artisanal places will make their own add-ins. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, just like in any good business, especially if you're a startup and with the world of gigantic corporations who can diversify anything they want to, you know, as a smaller person, as a smaller company, knowing your core competency and leaning into that, failing as fast as possible to learn from your mistakes, and then really owning that particular niche is kind of the only option you have, which is fine, and it's great for us because, like Tony said, we love making the ice cream, and like I was touching upon before, one of my criteria is that it's so malleable. I mean, you can ice creamify anything. You can put anything into a pint. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's sort of like infinite opportunity there, and I don't think we're gonna be running out of ideas anytime soon. If it does, it's just you know, a lack of creativity on our end. And hey, if any, you know, clients have customers or followers have an idea for a flavor, you know, DM us about it. If you know something about a unique dessert somewhere else, you know, might slap your name on it or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Van Leeuwen. They're an ice cream company.
Great company, yeah.
But they just did a collab with Hidden Valley Farms.
Yeah, the ranch.
They're making the ranch.
They did a ranch flavor,
yeah.
dude.
Oh, I saw that.
I bought it.
Is it good? Is it worth it?
It's not good.
Oh.
They got me though. Like, I bought it. I tried
it's intriguing,
it.
right? It's like,
dude, I put it in my group chat. Like, guys, like, I'm about to try this, and they're like, you're kind of weird for that.
But like,
and then I tried it, and I was like, but yeah, I'm weird for that. Like, it was not good.
Did you buy it because you thought
I wanted to try it? Yeah.
Good, or like you were just like, nah, this is gonna be fun.
I love ice cream. I love ranch.
did it taste like either?
It tasted too much like ranch that it was off-putting.
Just grab your wings. You're gonna start. A wing sundae. Oh my god.
That's the thing. Some things do not need to be ice creamified. That's for sure.
That is true.
But,
I remember getting called out because I saw Sour Patch Kids like had ice cream at Target, and I was like, this good? I post on Instagram. They're like, you're fucking sick. You're disgusting. Who are you? I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm just trying to see. Like,
I just asked the question.
yeah, exactly. Like,
But it is true though. People are very, I feel, aggressive when it comes to like ice cream flavors and like being like, no, this is the best ice cream, and then like going into full wars about like specific flavor types.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I was just interested in.
No, for real, yeah. Yeah, I mean, people, you know, ice cream, it is, you know, people that love ice cream, they love ice cream, they love sweets, so I get that. I don't really see kind of the whole thing. I mean, you know, we have competitors in our industry, but I mean, I think generally the ice cream industry is all friends, you know, it's all people that want to kind of help each other. From what I've seen, I mean, I haven't met Ben or Jerry yet. Actually, we did meet Jenny, which, let me just say, sweetest woman on the planet. I mean, she total just, you know, mom vibes, wants to take care of you, sweetest soul. And we had an opportunity to meet her and Tyler, the creator. We just kind of so happened to be in the area on the day they were having their pop-up event, and we were just standing at, like, there was a long line for the clothing store, and then there was a line for like something else, and we just started a line. And then we're like, why is this kind of older looking lady here at Tyler the Creator? And it ended up being Jenny, and she was sweet. But yeah, just generally speaking, like the ice cream industry, yeah, they're competitors, but everybody's kind of friendly, it seems. And I really look forward to one day meeting a lot of the other founders and kind of hearing their stories and kind of where they came from.
Same with like Ben and Jerry, like all the things they've done for like social justice.
Yeah.
Speaks for itself. So again, we haven't really met anyone yet. We're not really big players yet, but we will be. And it seems like a really like inclusive community that we think we'd be a good addition to.
That's good. You know, it's always good to feel that when you join any community, because there was always that, you know, whether it's a thought or sometimes it's just the reality of things, where it's a lot of it is very like hostile towards like new people, new competition. But to have a friendly competition, even though obviously everyone is still about their business, but to be not so put off ish from other new people and everything like that. That is refreshing to hear.
And
Absolutely.
And that's another thing that, I mean, beyond ice cream, but I think a lot of people in general don't really realize that you being, not you, just like in general, someone being successful doesn't take away from my success.
Yep.
I kind of see it as a benefit personally that if someone tries an ice cream by a Van Leeuwen or a Jenny's that is also a premium product, and that's their introduction to spending like $9-10 on a pint, but they like it and they had a great experience, then maybe next time they are more inclined to spend $12 on a different company that just so happens to be ours. And at the end of the day, like, I'm an ice cream connoisseur. I want everyone to try amazing ice creams. I think we make the best ice cream on earth, but I'll be the first person to shout out another company's ice cream if I think it's amazing.
Nice.
And there are a lot of them out there, you know?
Give props where it's due, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I mean, like, those are people that have poured their heart and souls into something, and it shows, you know. And you you got to recognize real when you see it, you know, type stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I'm very like, you know, right there with you on that. I mean, and that goes for like anything. When I see other creators trying to do something, like, I want to be there to support them as much as I can. If it's a like, if it's a post, if it's a text, hey dude, like, I'm proud of you, like, you're doing something, you know, like, you know,
because we've gotten the same thing. Like, in our short stories, we've had friends that just act because they want to help us out. You know, that they're not actors, they're not specifically trying to be in front of cameras and stuff, but we have this idea and they want to help us out. You know, like, shout out Def Jeff, shout out Yosef, shout out Victor, anyone else that's helped us. And it goes both ways. You know, like, we need help and these people help us just out of the goodness of their hearts. We can't pay them, they're taking time out of their day, but they're just doing it because they see the vision, they want to help.
Yeah, I get that.
Same with you guys, you know, like, thank you.
I was gonna say, if you guys need support, I'll support. I'm Tyson, but I'll support you. You need a second actor, sure.
Yeah,
I'll be on background.
Come up with a gym scene.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There it is.
Shotgun
Little bar
Diet
scene.
Dew.
when we come up with our Diet Dew ice cream.
We're gonna wait for the protein ice cream and see.
Oh, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is one little thing that we're that another little pet project of ours that we're gonna be working on is like a low-cal, high-protein ice cream.
Oh, say less.
With like Fairlife type thing. One of our buddies just started up an amazing company, Meal Preps, who does saute meals at Saute Meals on Instagram, made by award-winning chefs. That's all I eat for, like, you know, lunch and dinner basically. But my boy Derek has been wanting to do like a collab, because their whole like saute meal spin on food on like Meal Preps is like, you know, high protein and like clean, you know, food. And so I want to do some kind of collaboration with him on like a high protein, low cal, like kind of Fairlife type ice cream. So, but yeah, that's a good idea.
We'll be your testers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shit, dude, if I could eat a ice cream for my protein intake, I would do it.
60 grams per.
Shoot, imagine, bro. I'm eating the full pint right after I work out.
We can make some
gains.
Oh, boys. I mean, yeah,
I did want to ask one thing. So I know we're talking a lot about collaborations and supporting and all that. Who is one group, brand, whatever, that you guys would like to collab with?
Great question.
That's a great question. I think initially on the surface level, we've always talked about doing a collab with Tyler the Creator, which would be fantastic, just because I feel like, you know, we have a similar vision, artistic vision, and I think just he's such a big inspiration. Like, I mean, he's pay grades above us in terms of creativity, but like that would be something super cool. And he has such a great lore that a flavor or a series of flavors would be so easy to do, and we could really, like, you know, run with it in a unique way. But I mean,
I've also been really obsessed with this idea lately, so I'm kind of glad that you asked this. I haven't really mentioned it to too many people.
Hey, let's go.
A little exclusive for you guys, but about 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago, this really good ice cream company called Cool House did a collaboration with the brewery in El Segundo called Common Space, and they released 2 ice cream flavored porter beers. I bought them. I support it. I love the idea of it. And we're doing a collaboration next month with this pudding company called Famous Puddin'. and they recently did a beer with a brewery in Temecula called, I believe, Oscar Brewing Company.
Okay.
And
Marietta.
since those, I've been really obsessed with the idea of getting our own beer, like based on one of our flavors. So I'm really glad you asked that, because it's something I've been putting a lot of energy in towards manifesting. So if there's any like local brewers, they want to take a chance, try some of our flavors, and maybe do something with us, because the idea of like a mashup porter stout
like
beer
that.
would be amazing.
Hey, if you need testers for that too, I'm right down there, right there with you.
Make something happen for sure.
Beautiful.
But I think maybe the I don't know kind of where we're gonna go from here, but I do want to mention the promo code for some followers. So again, MashupIceCream.com is where you can order our ice cream. We have a couple flavors available right now. Deliveries are on Fridays, every Friday. And we're gonna do a promo code 2GOOD4YOU. That's like the number 2 4 FOR. 2, the number 2, good, and then the number 4, and then you, like the letter itself, for I think what 10% off your entire order. So go ahead, and we'll release that when these guys release that.
That's
so
right.
we'll make that
The
code
code
active
is
for
right
you
here,
guys.
guys.
Yeah,
Right there.
Everything.
So it'll be there.
and then make sure though to follow at Mashup Ice Cream Co on Instagram and
On TikTok.
and on TikTok. That way you can make sure that you get a chance to save on some cash there, because it's a great economy right now.
There it is. Or see what flavors you guys got coming up.
Absolutely.
So-
Or watch some of those short films, because we're basically the new Netflix with short films.
I like it.
Thank you guys so much for having us on. Thank you
gentlemen.
everybody
Oh,
for
of
listening. We really
course.
appreciate it.
I mean, I'm good. If there's anything else.
I think we're all good. I mean, other than thank you again for coming onto the show. I really appreciate it. We know anyone that comes onto the show is going to make it big. So we're here to support you guys no matter what. So
was a-
congrats again on all your success.
Thank you.
Thank you too. It was a privilege to be on literally the only podcast in California.
That's right.
Sorry, no one else
Heard
said
it.
it, so we took it.
TM.
Yeah, we're taking that. No, but yeah, definitely. So that's it for us on our end. But definitely, boys. I mean, I don't feel like we have to kick you guys out. So if there's anything else that you guys want to ask or whatever, if not, we'll leave it up.
Shout out. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean,
Shout out to you guys. One last time, thanks for having us on. Shout out to everyone that supported us. There's too many names to name, but you know who you are. We truly, truly appreciate it. And hopefully we're back on the show a little ways in the future, and both of us have blown up by then. And, have a little reunion
Absolutely.
episode.
It is.
oh yeah, that'll be something crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think just thank you for me and Tony, and this has been great, like a lot of good fun, and I wish you guys the best with the podcast. Keep growing and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
I know just as creators, but also as just like people who started their own businesses, it's like you see yourself gaining an inch, a centimeter every day, and it is small, but in the aggregate it's something huge, and so just keep on doing it. And for the people that support you, like, kudos to them for staying involved and listening to you and allowing like you guys to be vulnerable with them and show them who you are, because it takes a lot of courage to do the kind of thing that you guys are doing. So just keep that up, and that goes for people that are watching. Like, if you've got an idea, like, it's hard, but if you got good people around you, you got to know that. Like, never forget.
That's right.
No matter how you feel, no matter how late you think it is to start, you got good people around you. You might not realize it, but you really do.
And shout out Mark for connecting us.
Yes, Marquito.
If you made it to the end of the video, what's up, dude?
But yeah, well, dang, that was a great episode. Again, thank you guys for coming out, joining us. Make sure you guys go follow Mashed Up Ice Cream Co. everywhere. We'll put all their information inside of our bio and whatever the hell description, whatever it is.
Links in bio. You know what it is.
We'll write it in there. Make sure you guys use our new code, 2GOOD4YOU, the number 2, good, number 4, letter U, at MashedUpIceCreamCo.com. Get that 10% off of all your fantastic ice cream goods and fun things. Eman, I forgot how to end the show.
Where can they find you? All right, I'll tell you where you could find me. Hit me up on Instagram at Snap. Say what's up. Everything else, I don't want you to find.
And again, Tony, Anthony, do you guys have any other things besides Mashed Up Ice Cream?
Follow us on Instagram, Mashup Ice Cream Co. Check us out online on our website, MashupIceCream.com.
Also, don't forget to go to Ballast Point Brewing Company to have some of our ice cream there. It's on the chocolate ganache cake
with our Victory It's the ice cream.
And then grab
we're gonna
yourself
have
a
to go
beer
tomorrow.
afterwards.
Yeah. We're going tomorrow. I don't care.
All right, boys.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll do it. Make sure you guys follow me, Tyson X Phillips. See you later. Bye.
Let's start with the sweetest of them all, the gooey salted caramel, which is again available on the website still. Here, Tony, what's the description here?
It's a salted caramel ice cream with chunks of homemade gooey butter cake.
Ooh, that's a nice chunk in there.
Should have zoomed in a little bit.
Exactly. Okay.
All that goodness.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Sorry. All right. Ready?
Sure.
We're gonna do it at the same time.
Oh.
Want to feed each other?
Yeah. I was just fucking waiting.
His arm.
Swan arm it.
All right.
You gotta get the
Chunk, yeah.
Oh, I gotta get
just
the chunk
found
with
one.
it?
Yeah, get a chunk of the butter cake.
Don't spill my.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that one, what do we put in that one? We got the butter cake, which is homemade. That's some good
Salted
sweetness.
caramel
The salted
base.
caramel. Sea
Try it
salt.
out.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Cheers. Cheers. Wow.
You're fucking good.
Pretty fucking delicious.
Holy shit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
See, that's the fucking thing, right? Especially with that butter cake. You're like, oh, it's in ice cream, so it's gonna be hard as fuck. So I was explaining, okay, it's gonna be crunchy, absolutely no crunch. There was a soft in ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Hence the gooey.
Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, dude, this is
Fuck
crazy.
you guys. You guys are gonna be fat.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Holy
wow.
shit, that's good.
And then next up, we got the.
God, we have more.
Okay, sorry.
Next up, we got the Nice Krispies, which is it's a blend of Nutella with like a Nutella base with Rice Krispie cereal. So that one, you're not allergic to nuts, are you?
No, we're good. This obviously seems like this is gonna be his.
Why you say that?
I don't know, because you kept looking at me like.
Bro, it looks fucking good. Did I get Rice Krispies? I think I did.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
What? What was it mixed again?
Rice Krispie treats.
With the Nutella though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I like this. Dude, you're gonna make me fucking fat, I swear.
Personally, not a Nutella fan, just in general, but it is good. I will admit. Probably couldn't eat a full pint. This one is free, man. You can have this.
Bro, I'm about to smoke it. I fucking eat the full thing.
It's like you faded, fool.
Exactly.
That is really good, though.
And then this last one here is the mango cart. So this
is the one I'm most excited for.
Yeah, this one's a unique kind of spin.
Let him explain.
Sorry.
Definitely a unique spin. We've all had like a mango nyada, so you get like that initial kind of experience where it's like, you know, it's mango-y. You get the kind of the kick from the tahini, and then the savory sweetness from the chamoy, and then it turns more into an ice cream at the end of the palate.
Really?
So yeah, let's see what you guys think.
And it looks beautiful.
It looks great.
This
Yeah, it's
one-
got a good red kind of swirl.
At
to
first,
it.
I thought this was the guava cheesecake thing.
They
But-
look sort of similar.
No, I'm for this, bro.
All right,
Okay, I'll let you go first.
No, go ahead.
I did first every single time. I can't do this
Just
first.
go in.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow.
Is that a
I
good
mean, if you guys want to enjoy some with
Yeah.
us, I mean, you're more than welcome to.
this?
Huge piece.
Please.
Whatever, let's get into it. Oh, yeah.
Need some of that?
Mmm.
Wow.
You're right.
Whoa.
It starts blending it in. But I do get the initial, like, chamoy and yeah.
Fuck me. Wow, that is really good.
Yeah.
I
Damn, guys, I don't like sweets. This is really good.
you know this is yeah. I kind of like how we heard everything about the company, what you guys were doing first, because after tasting it, now that we've heard you
Appreciate it
explain
more.
it, I see exactly what the message is and like how everything like yeah. No, this is fantastic. I mean,
What I like a lot about each and one of them is like it doesn't have that lingering, you know, like nasty sugary taste that I don't know that I get with like generic or not generic, but like name brand ones you get at the store. And oh man, the flavors came through.
oh yeah.
I think my favorite one is probably that
The
one.
gooey salted caramel.
That one is fire.
Yeah.
Holy
They
shit.
all go crazy. Yeah.
A rock paper scissors you for the,
You can
for the
have
last
it.
bite.
You can have it. I will not fight you, unfortunately. But no, man, no, thank you so much. That was
This was great.
That was awesome. Those
Well,
were
you guys are closing it up.
really good. Yeah, like I said, I think definitely I understand everything a little bit more. I mean, I understood because I can comprehend things listening, but now tasting everything, this is
That's it.
this is definitely something I also want to see around more.
Oh yeah.
But I'll definitely be having to keep up on the new monthly drop to be like, all right,
That's the one.
I need something new.
I know.
New month, new drop.